guys, it's Victoria, and for today's video I kind of wanted to just sit down and talk about topics that actually matter and that should be talked about. So for today's video, I do want to talk about something that I definitely advocate and something that most Filipinos should know already by now, which is financial literacy. Now, in the Philippines, I would definitely say that saving is not always a priority, which is sad because most don't even know how much they should save for retirement. And that is why I kind of want to talk about this. In Cebuano, katutag mga kamot. Meaning we have itchy hands. Itchy to spend anything and everything that we can. Even things that are not already in our reach yet. And this is why Filipinos always tend to fall into debt. Yes, this is a very serious topic and a serious matter because more than 50% of Filipinos are in debt. I don't know the statistical figures. Maybe I'll put it somewhere here after researching it after this video. But yes, most of us are in debt. And why is that? It's because we like to spend. Spend. When we don't have money and we want to spend, we find ways to get money to spend. A very good example would be birthdays, celebrations. We want to have a feast. And even if we don't have money, we will make utang just to have money. We spend for other people to enjoy. And in the end, it is us who still has to pay the bill later on. And why? For gratification. I don't know why. Most of us just like to feel that we have something to give. But really, you give what you have. We don't give what we don't have. But that's the sad reality. And another thing that I definitely don't like hearing a lot is how parents use their children as investments. Now parents, if you're listening, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan wag magalit, please don't use that excuse for retirement. It is our job as parents to fend for ourselves and for them. It is our responsibility for life as much as they need us. It doesn't work the other way around just when they start having income. Putting this subconscious obligation to our children makes them not want to have family of their own, and that's what we don't want. And honestly, a lot of grandparents start ranting on later in life that, oh, ano, wala pa ko'y apo, oy, why is this, why are you not married yet? More often than not, it's the parents or maybe the family that's the reason why they are not even planning that yet. They are spending for you guys. And if we set this notion and continue to let it happen, where children are our investments, this type of cycle will keep going. People aged 25, 30, 35, sometimes even 40 are still spending for the family and they can't even have their own anymore. And probably already discouraged to have. So parents, if you want mga apo, please plan for your own retirement and don't use your children as your retirement plans, okay? Another great example of spending money we don't have is knowing, for example, that pay is coming the next 2 weeks or so, or maybe in a month if you earn monthly, and you don't even have the money yet, but you already know what you're going to spend it on. And this is why the moment your salary arrives, itchy hands, shoop, it's gone, just like that. So we definitely need to find a way to save knowing our spending habits. So here are some tips that I believe that I find useful and have used also in the past and at the present when it comes to saving. If you're a student and your only source of income is getting allowance from your parents, I suggest setting aside a certain amount from your allowance, either daily, weekly, or monthly, and putting it in the bank. There are also things that you probably might want to do, and sometimes you don't want to always ask for your parents. So save a portion of your allowance, and once you're able to save enough money to put it in the bank, do that. And I would suggest getting a passbook instead of an actual ATM card. Why? Because the more inconvenient it is for you to withdraw, the less likely that you are to do it, unless you actually finally need it, right? First things first, research on the types of banks and the amount of deposit interest that they offer. you definitely want to go for a bank that offers a higher interest rate. Because you'll be saving, you'll definitely be leaving this for quite some time and you want to earn interest from that as well. So research the types of banks, and once you've decided and you're okay with the interest rates, then open up a bank account. This is one way to get yourself into the habit of also saving. And the good thing about a passbook is because you can actually see the amounts written on your passbook and the times that you have deposited. Trust me, it's a really good feeling seeing your passbook grow in numbers, physically seeing them, and it actually motivates you to want to keep doing it. If you've just started working and you still don't have that much substantial amount just yet, it is still a great time to start saving. Ideally, 40% of your income should go to savings. If you can't start with 40%, even as simple as 10 or 20% will definitely do. But you need to get yourself into the habit of saving something from your income. Now, this is vital for the next step because you'll definitely need to save for an emergency fund. An emergency fund is basically, as it says, for emergencies. Whether this would be you getting fired from a job, getting laid off, or you needing something for medical use, or maybe anything further that requires you to spend for it immediately, this is your go-to fund. And for an emergency fund, ideally as well, it should be at least 3 or 4 months worth of your monthly income. Now this is why you have to go back to saving as soon as day 1 from when you start receiving your income. It might seem hard, but this is something you'll definitely thank yourself for later. Another thing that you're going to have to save up for is to start investing. Working just one job is definitely not ideal. It shouldn't be ideal, because you need to have different sources and streams of income. And investing is one great way of getting another source of income, though it may not be immediately, but later on, it is definitely something you can reap benefit out from. Being able to invest in something is also one way to jump into a greater way of being able to start saving for your investments. Most of us Filipinos don't even know how much we're supposed to save. It is definitely a big amount. From what I've learned from being in the insurance industry, your ideal savings would be your yearly income times the remaining years left that you have until you start to retire, maybe 60 or 65 depending on you, is equals to the amount of how much you should save. That is the ideal amount that you should have, and I know it's pretty big and you might think it's impossible to save for, but it is not. If you get into the habit of saving as early as now, you will be able to get that. And if you have ample savings already to start investing, then that is definitely something you can achieve. Another great way of investing would be in stocks or life insurance and investments. These companies will be the ones who manage your portfolios for you, meaning this is a great way of being able to get passive income. Now, first though, you have to understand that any good investment will always be long-term. So meaning you're going to have to shell out your money but not be able to make use of it right away. It usually takes 5, 10, and even longer if you want to earn better. But you'll definitely thank your future self for this, for having started as early as now. Another thing you have to also invest in is also your medical or health care. Because healthcare in the Philippines is very expensive, being able to purchase or invest HMOs and the likes are definitely useful. You may be paying an amount that you won't use right away still, but when the time calls for it, you're definitely going to be thanking yourself later on for it. So the goal is always to invest in things that you can come back to later. So this means shelling out your money and being able to reap a ton of benefits from it later on. Like I mentioned, think long term. And lastly, if you're a growing family, your number one priority should be an education fund. So as early as 0 days old of your child, you should already be getting education fund. Now there are many ways of being able to tackle this and to start getting an education fund. One of the easiest and most convenient way is to actually get a life insurance plus investment. Why? Because it hits 2 birds in 1 stone. One, in case anything happens to you, you can be assured and have a peace of mind that your family will still be covered, monetary-wise, because of the death benefit. And secondly, the monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments that you make will definitely grow, and by the time your child reaches age 5 or 6, you can already start withdrawing money so that you can pay off for education. Remember, education keeps inflating. This is one of the things that never really rolls back. So you definitely want to start saving as early as day zero. 100,000 worth of education will not be 100,000 pesos a year later, 2 years later, or even 3 years later. So if you start later, you're gonna have to save bigger. And that's not what you want. That's not even practical. Because if you can't even save 10 pesos daily, you will not be able to garner up 100,000 pesos in a month, in 2, or maybe in a year. So start saving. As early as now, you should already be checking your finances, consulting with someone about it, or even as simple as putting money in the bank. And if you don't have a bank account because you're still probably a student and you're watching this, save up enough to open a bank account. Everything has to be goal driven. So make sure you have an end goal in mind as to why you want to use that money or why you even need it. But a very simple way is because shit happens and you want to be prepared for them. So start saving today. If you found this talk useful, make sure to hit the like and share, and definitely subscribe if you want more of these videos. And if you found this definitely useful, please share this video because people need to know that they should start saving and that they shouldn't constantly be in debt. Alright? Thanks again, everybody, and I hope you start saving today. Like right now. Right now. Bye!